Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Cymone the Beloved, where I want to create a space for us to explore what it means to be a beloved child of God. Um, this is part of my morning segment called Good Morning Corner with Jesus, where I share with you guys some of the conversations I have with Jesus in the morning in my morning corner. Um, I had a prayer meeting this morning, and I had some really good vision from God that I was very motivating for me and my friends. So I just wanted to hop on here live this morning and share it with some of you guys. And in case it's you guys joining me for the first time, I just want to know you guys to know that you can just come as you are to Jesus. You don't have to be all dressed up, all fancy, and look at me. I'm still in my pajamas, just out of bed in the morning and coming as I am to have this conversation with Jesus. And it's a ritual of mine to get like a tea ready so that we can just have a conversation, like as if we're having conversation with friends over coffee. What I'm drinking this morning is red dates tea. It's supposed to be good for circulation, so that's why I'm having this morning. Be sure to comment below what kind of beverage of choice that you like to have in the morning that gets you started and ready for your day. So before further ado, just want to share with you guys a vision that I had this morning. So if you guys are from Toronto, you'll know that there's this mall called Pacific Mall. It's this Asian mall that's basically flooded with people all the time before COVID, anyways, before all the lockdown. So I had a vision that there was this one person just wandering in the mall, like, and it was as if like it wasn't open or something because like it was just that one person there. And if you know Pacific Mall, that's kind of a very rare sight. So there's just one person walking around the mall, and then there was no one around, and I felt like this was an encouragement for I felt like at that time God was saying this is encouragement for people who are feeling like they're wandering in their mission field. They know that they're supposed to be there, and this is a mission field that God has called them to be at, whether it's in your workplace, your community, your church, or your neighborhood that you're walking around for, whatever it is that God has put a passion on your heart for, but you're feeling like you're alone. Where is your teammates? Because you know that God always sends people two by two, right? Like you're never supposed to be alone. There's supposed to be people that are around you working together on this, but you're feeling very alone. This is a word of encouragement for you this morning. That as you were walking alone, I found God in a corner, and he had this huge cotton candy machine, huge cotton candy machine. And what he was doing, he was actually wrapping people around in that cotton canning machine and making them into cocoons essentially, and then he was hanging them on the ceiling. So then very quickly he was telling that person, um I guess it's me, because he was like, Cymone, look up. And when I looked up, all over, hung over the ceiling, were thousands of cocoons all hung up around us. And essentially it was like a forest of cocoons. And that's when he made me realize that what I was looking at was my feet. Like I was looking at all around me what I was lacking, but what I wasn't seeing was what God was doing. And cocoon always represents for me people in metamorphosis, as in they're in that transition. They're getting that their God is working in their hearts, and he's like ripping everything apart. Kind of like, in a cocoon, there's just these juice inside the cocoon that kind of essentially melts the caterpillar. So takes apart everything that that person has ever been and was, the bad parts, and heals all of that and prepares that caterpillar to be ready to metamorphosize and transition to become that um, butterfly. So what God was saying was that there's all these people, thousands, millions of people essentially being prepared. I would dare to say billions of people that are actually being prepared for the harvest that is to come, and thousands that he's preparing specifically for your field. And I felt like that was what the mall represented, that the mall was the field, and that we were waiting for people to come in. People that were coming in were essentially non-believers, people that don't yet know who Jesus is, don't have a relationship with Jesus. And what the job of that person that is feeling very alone right now, feeling wondering, am I the only one that is aware that we need to prepare this mall for the upcoming opening so that people coming in will know Jesus? No, you're not alone. What you're supposed to be doing right now is to partner with God to prepare everything so that as the people in the cocoon are preparing themselves to be ready for this mission, that when they come, when the butterflies hatch, all will be ready in the mall so that as the butterflies hatch, new people will be coming in and everything will be set up and ready to receive them and introduce them to Jesus, um, their lover of God, and for them to know who they are as the beloved of Christ. And then there was a second part of the vision was that I felt like God was also encouraging us to not to fall into the temptation of feeling prideful, that I'm the only one that is ready for action and everyone else is still up there preparing with God. The the idea of not being prideful came in the second vision, in that there were all these bunch of people in the trenches of a battlefield, and but what they didn't recognize was that they were all zombies kind of. And when they were speaking to one another, um, rot and I guess like insects were coming out, like, kind of like insects crawls out of like zombies and stuff like that, was crawling out of the zombies, but they were in the trenches. They were very ready for the fight. And that made me realize that although there's some of us that are not so much in the metamorphosis stage anymore, we have spent our good quality amount of time with God in our healing, so that we can be where we are right now. But there's still parts of us. I mean, all of us are always in healing and being further sanctified in the image of Christ, further made whole in the image of God that we were made in. And sometimes it's easy to forget that we are still in the process of the remaking, and that there's still parts of us that are not fully surrendered to God. There's still parts of us that are broken. There are baggages that we're still carrying around that we are not fully aware of. And how to daily continuing that process of surrendering to God, so that what comes out of our mouth will be streams of living water, fountains of wholeness and healing, instead of the rot. Because the rot kind of essentially is the stuff that we're carrying. When we have unhealed hearts, then we see the world from tainted lenses. We have a tainted heart of interpretation of even his word spoken to us and how we present it into the world. So all of that to daily come in front of God and to surrender. And honestly, the hardest thing for me sometimes isn't just daily coming to God, is that moment by moment as things comes up, to bring it, to stop what I'm doing and yielding myself to have that honest conversation with God. So for example, one thing that God has been really making me understand recently is that triggers are good things, and that he's purposely bringing me into triggering circumstances on purpose because there are good things. Okay, hear me out. Why are they good things? Triggers are essentially baggages, that they're pointing towards baggages that we're carrying around. And we could live our lives being untriggered by purposely avoiding things that will trigger us, reminding us of the baggage that we're carrying around. But God instead has been bringing me to triggering situations a lot lately, because he wanted to show me what baggages I was carrying around, what lies I was carrying, what tainted glasses I was wearing every day, and receiving the world in a way that wasn't intended to be received the way that God had wanted me to see. If I was partnering with him and able to fully partner with him and see what he's doing, and being able to bring my full self to a situation, I need to be stop wearing my tainted glasses. I need to not be hindered by my baggages, and I need to have that pure heart surrender to him. So every time that I was getting triggered recently, I knew it was an invitation for God to ask me to stop. And sometimes you can't stop immediately at that situation, but to put aside time, to put a mental note, to put aside time later on, to have that honest conversation with God about what is triggering me, what is the baggage, what is my unhealed place, what is it bringing up about me, lies that I know about me about my circumstances, about my life, about essentially my relationship with God. And how is that affecting the way I am presenting myself into this world? How is that hindering me from being the full ambassador of Christ everywhere I go? So, as so I think that's what the second image was bringing up, was for us to recognize that sometimes when we speak, or sometimes in what we're doing, that we are speaking with the lenses that we carry from all the baggages that we're carrying, and how to also take time to give that to God so that he can, wow, I have someone watching. Nice. Sorry. Um I am so encouraged. Thank you for watching and encouraging me. This is my first time doing live. Yeah, and how do we surrender what the baggages that we have so that he can further cleanse our hearts, so that he can further use us, and that we are not zombies in the trenches anymore, but more and more glowing in the image of Christ, being the light upon the hill. Anyways, I think our sharing is a bit longer than usual lately. So I hope this was encouraging to you guys. If it was, then please give me a thumbs up, and comment below so that I'll know, because I'm trying to see if I want to do more of these lives in the morning, and if you guys will be wanting to join me in these times of reflection and sharing. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I pray that whatever comes up in your day with God today, that may it bring you closer and closer to him, and becoming that person that he had created you to be, and that you will know that you are always loved, you're always accepted, and you will belong to the kingdom of God. Have a great day. Bye.